1961. The original, first one, Mothra. Yeah. Aoshiro Honda directed this one. This is about an hour and 41 minutes. I looked it up because the back it doesn't say the running time. So let's get started with this one. We already did H-Man a few months ago. I did the H-Man like uh, in January. So I gotta do this one. I gotta keep these weirdos off of my chat because I don't want them in my chat. This one's not the My Classic Mini. This is it, the original Mothra. This one they have on streaming now, so. This one under the original Rodan. I didn't see this one as a kid. Mothra. I hope the subtitles are here. Wait a minute. Make sure I put the subtitles because I don't want to see the movie without subtitles. Hold on. Gotta put the subtitles on. Yes. Play the movie. There we go. Make sure the subtitles are on. The opening, the subtitles don't appear in the opening credits like in the classic media Godzilla movies. I can't read that again. I don't read Japanese. That must be the hardest language to write because it doesn't even look like letters. It looks like symbols. They look like hieroglyphics. This in Arabic, I have no idea, what the lettering is. It looks more like symbols. Languages are weird. Like I said before. This one I didn't see as a kid. I saw this years ago. I saw it on VHS, and then I saw it on DVD in Japanese later. Another typhoon, just like in the Godzilla vs. Mothra. How many monster movies start with people on a boat? The original Godzilla, the original Mothra, War of the Gargantuas. Yeah, a lot of them started on the ocean for some reason. Surprisingly, not Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. That has a lot of ocean scenes, but it doesn't start with a cruise. The worst situation could be in, no, you could die. That's the worst situation could be in. I don't even like sailing on a boat if it's clear weather because you never know, it could change on a dime. I like swimming in a controlled environment like a swimming pool or something. We're taking on water. Yeah, I know, no kidding. Besides, Battle in Outer Space is not a monster movie. It's basically just it's a sci-fi movie. But it's not a monster movie. That's why I thought it was decent, but but it's not a kaiju film. There's Infant Island, a beautiful map painting of it. And just like the MCU, they did their individual movies before they got together. Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra. Mm-hmm. This is a much smaller scale movie. It's not as somber as the original Godzilla is, or the original Rodan. People on the island. And Rumaro survivors returned with radiation sickness, of course, because they were bombing that island. That's why in Godzilla versus Mothra, the island is mostly uninhabited. There he is, Akihiro Hirata. He's in this movie. Since he wasn't in King Kong versus Godzilla, he was in this one. A lot of familiar faces here. If you've seen a lot of Toho movies, and I have. I know. This guy has a little boy's face. There's the girl. Well, that's a. No pictures. I'll take that film. Zen. Oh yeah, this is the comic relief Asian guy. Fukuda. Mm-hmm. The snapping turtle. Three million readers. Yeah, that's how many people read Reddit every day. Not the newspapers, because newspapers are kind of dead now. Red juice. There's the actor that played Dr. Yamani. It's similar to Godzilla versus Mothra, except this one doesn't have Godzilla in it, and there's no guys trying to sell the fairies like in Godzilla versus Mothra. They do kidnap them, but of course, that's par for the course. Yeah, you notice this actor's he's not Japanese, so he's speaking it really slow, the Japanese, because the Japanese speak things real fast. This guy's Charlie speaking it phonetically, because he's doing it much slower. When they're doing it phonetically, I can tell when they're a native speaker and when they're not. when they speak it really, really slowly. Needle press. We're 10 minutes in. Chucho. The same actor from, Godzilla Raids Again and Godzilla versus Mothra. It's a mouse. Shinji. Kids, yes. This one has kids in it. This was a few years before Gamera came out, and yeah, they would take over a lot of franchises after 1965. And anime. Because the Dragon Ball, One Piece, Pokemon, Digimon, they always had like kids or teenagers be the main characters. I don't know if the characters in My Hero Academia are kids or adults. I don't remember. Even Sailor Moon, she's like 14. She's not a woman. Women dress up as her, but she's a 14-year-old teenage girl in a school. Mousy, but the mouse is cute. It's white. Oh, come on. Don't start skipping. There we go. This isn't scratched. It's just I should have bought it brand new. Because they have this movie on streaming, but they don't have it on YouTube. They have it on Tubi. And I think Amazon Prime. I gotta clean this DVD player because I haven't cleaned it in a while. I got two copies of this movie, this Japanese version and the dub version. There's some English in the movie. That's good. Nelson. Yeah, I like that they put some English speakers in this movie because Nick Adams was dubbed in Godzilla Monster versus Monster Zero, but here the white actors are not dubbed over because the original Gamera had people speaking English and then people speaking Japanese. Hey, it's we live in the same world. Our languages are completely different and our cultures are very different, but our our planet is the same. We all went through the pandemic. We all had to wear masks. Yeah, the actor that plays Nelson looks very sneaky. Like he has one of those creepy looking faces. He doesn't have squinty eyes. He has big, crazy, like, like a mustache twirling eyes. I know that I don't know if that makes sense or not, but he looks shady. This is also pretty slow, like Monster Zero, so you got to give it time. Infinite Expedition send off. It's very similar to the original Godzilla, except it's not as somber because this one's in color, and the monster doesn't die at the end. She just flies away with her two fairies, which is fitting because you don't want to end every monster movie on a downbeat thing. Hold on. I like the music in this movie too. It fits. I could lie down a little bit. It's 16 minutes in. Hey Spidey, it's been a while. Hey John, today's birthday 16/26. I'm ready to play as one of my favorite wrestlers in the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, Bret Heyman Hart. Yeah. Happy birthday, Spidey. Sorry I haven't seen you for a while. You left some comments on my videos, on my live stream, so I do appreciate that. You've been loyal to my channel for a while now, so. Of course he wants to control it. Nelson is the villain of this movie. Not Mothra is not the villain. She's a caring monster that doesn't only causes destruction when her fairies are in trouble. That's when she shows up, or if her babies are in trouble. We know. I've seen all the Mothra movies, including the Rebirth trilogy, which I could have done, but there's no there's no DVD for it. So, and it's not on streaming. So, and I don't want to use the Blu-ray and then I get a copyright infringement because anytime they hear music, they get on your case about it. That's what happened last year when I did a podcast for uh, VR Wachowski. Yeah, he sounds like a villain from an anime. He does. He looks shady. Everybody else has beady eyes, and this guy's got big, crazy eyes. There's just some actors that look like villains. Good morning, heterosexual guy. Nice rewatch of Mothra, the original Mothra. At least I'm seeing the real guys now. No more of these bots. YouTube has to scan these fake, the algorithm to make sure who's real, like you guys, and who's a bot trying to spam my channel. I refuse. He's like, yeah, he just has a villain face. It's like Tim Curry. You're gonna really trust him in a movie? You know that he's was typecast as a villain since the 70s. Dr. Harada. I was gonna do Terra Mecha Godzilla, but I saw it already, so I can see it some other time, like in the fall for Halloween. It's got monsters in it. I could do with that because there's way too many Godzilla movies to do in 1 month. There's so many of them. The kaiju genre is massive, and so is the tokusatsu genre, and like giant anime and all that. Yeah, there's a lot of Asia has so much content. Yeah, and their movies make millions of dollars. You know why? Because they don't preach. Yeah, they don't. They don't do gender politics. They don't do gay stuff. They don't have to talk about race and religion and all that. You don't need that. That divides people. Find common ground. Mothra is a hero. Yeah, she is. She's not the villain in this movie. She's one of the few monsters that doesn't attack cities on purpose. Look at the land. It's beautiful, and they ruined it with nuclear testing. That's not why Mothra attacks the city. It's because they steal her babies, her twin fairies. This is their first appearance. I couldn't do these movies in order because if it was in order, I would have done Godzilla, the original, which I did, then Raids Again, then I would have done the original Rodan, but I don't have the original Rodan. I am Mygo. Yeah, this one's a little bit slapsticky. That's how you know this one's not like the original Godzilla because there's no slapstick in that. That movie is dead serious. That's why people like seeing my commentary on it because it's the darkest of the entire series, even more than the recent one that came out, minus one, Shin Godzilla, and the MonsterVerse ones. These sets look amazing, by the way. Even in 1961, that was the year my parents were born. I'll never forget it. No, they're not normal plants. They got like spider webs on them. Molds. Mm-hmm. There's the writing on the wall. Killer plants. Yeah. There are plants like that that can actually strangle you. Or a Venus flytrap. There they are. The little fairies. Chucho is out. He saw the fairies and fainted because he said, I've never seen girls that small. What do you mean, high? They're not humans, they're fairies. They look like humans. Only a foot tall. Small women exist. They're called little people, or the derogatory term midget. But again, that didn't come from me. That's a derogatory word for little people. I just say little person or a small shorty. What was it? Good night. This guy has a weird voice, man. That's why he didn't do a lot of these films because the other one, the guy that plays Chujo, did plenty of films in this franchise. He started with Raids Again all the way to Godzilla 1985 was like one of his last ones. But he was in a lot of the franchise. But this guy, like this chubby guy, this Lou Costello of Japan is like, yeah, he's kind of there. He's the comic relief in case you didn't get it in the first 5 minutes. You don't see Mothra for a while, so because again, just like the original Godzilla and the original Rodan, they have to do build up to get to her. That's why I prefer Godzilla versus Mothra. It's got a much better pacing than this. It's a shorter movie, even in Japanese, and they trim like 7 minutes of filler in this movie because this one has the American and Japanese, relations, and also there has some allegories in it, and also some insignias, especially at the end. They're beautiful girls. It's not a song, that's their language. Yeah, they've had atomic and nuclear testing here, of course. Trust me, an Asian girl is cute in any part of the world. Any part of the world. Nelson took them under. Look at his face. Ooh. This is the most obviously painfully. This is the most painfully obvious actor in the entire franchise. Him and the guy from Godzilla 2000. They look like villains. They have the face of a villain. They have big, crazy eyes. Usually that means somebody's a villain or they're an anti-hero. Just saying. There's the natives in brown face. Built up built up in monster movies can sometimes work as long as they don't put in filler. I think that guy's from Canada. That's why he's speaking English, or he's American. No, but even though this movie's slow, it's not 2.5 hours. The new Mission Impossible is 2 hours and 49 minutes. I'm like, how can someone praise a movie that long? If it's not called Endgame or Infinity War or something like that, I'm not gonna bite because that movie was a build up from 11 years in the past, and it has a lot of characters. So you can't do a movie that long with that many people in 90 minutes. But with Mission Impossible, it could have been 2 hours. You don't need the extra 49 minutes. I guarantee you that plane scene's probably going to be like 30 minutes long at the end, and the turkey's going to get half the screen time. I don't care about any of the girls in that movie except for Palm Clementine because the rest of them are just filler characters to make the movie longer than it needs to be. Vanessa Kirby, she's probably gonna die. The turkey, I don't care. Uh, That Waddingham lady, whatever that was in the Garfield movie last year, I don't care about her either. She was in Garfield and the Fall Guy. I don't care about any of them. Sorry. You went to the island to steal the girls. Shame on you. Yeah, at least that scene is over. With 31 minutes in, that's why Mothra shows up in Japan and starts. Mothra shows up and they're like, "Why? Because you took her baby, or her little girls." Mm-hmm. Yeah. Secret writings. Yeah. Yeah, the DVD said that the Japanese version is different. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's subtitled. Mothra. Yeah, that's what they say her name. 33 minutes in. It's been raining most of this week. That's why I've been staying home doing podcasts. I'm not gonna do one tomorrow. I need to take a day off because this weekend I'm doing more podcasts, Saturday and Sunday. So I need a day or two to rest and just see some other movie. My lovely ladies, yeah, you sick bastard. Seriously, I don't grab women like that. I don't do that. Even if they're smaller than me, I don't do that. I treat people with respect. If I like them. If not, I just flee. Those are dolls, yeah. When they grab them, you're sick. This one had a lower budget than Godzilla versus Mothra, mainly because there's no monster action for a while. Of course, they're going to shoot the natives. Plus, right after this, you had King Kong versus Godzilla, which is the biggest box office hit of the original series because it was such an event. Before America remade it in 2020 in 2021, there was the original King Kong versus Godzilla. Nobody expected that movie to be as big as it was. It made more money than the original Godzilla and Godzilla Raids Again. Ugh. Mm-hmm. There she is. The egg. We don't even see Mothra with her wings until the end of the film. She's just a moth, a baby moth, an egg first, then the baby moth, just like in Godzilla versus Mothra, and then she becomes an adult moth, not a butterfly. Because I remember when Decker Shadow was like, it's a freaking butterfly. I'm like, no, she's a moth, Mothra, not butterfly. Ra. I'm a human being too. Mm-hmm. Secret Fairy Show. It's a very pretty looking film. It's got a lot of color and vibrant locations and atmosphere. That's what Ashiro Honda does best, better than any director from Japan at that time. The only other acclaimed director at that time was Akira Kurosawa, who did mostly a lot of dramas and war films. I mean, his Seven Samurai is so long. It's probably the most critically acclaimed movie he directed because it's on a lot of people's top 10 lists. The Shoka. I'm sorry, guys. That's what they say things really really like a lot. They the way they enunciate is much bigger than us. Lovely fairies indeed. Cute as a button. That is a nice shot. They're in a little carriage. It's like having two Naya Damisons. And you know how attracted I am of her. Not to worry, people, they're little. Here comes a song. Mosuraya, Mosura, Tokasasakuya, Inoru, Utowina, Hamba Hamba, Ya, Tonkukana, Sakuya. It's a classic song. They sing it in almost every film that she's in. They're so cute, man. In all the versions I've seen them in. This one, Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, when they're the Cosmos in Godzilla versus Mothra, the Battle for Earth. I wish I could do that one, but I only have the dub version. Dun, 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 dun. Masuda, yes, they played this at Comic Con 15 years ago. Ooh, going on. Humba, humba. Don't you come on. It's an iconic song. People that have seen this franchise, they know what that song is. It's Mothra's theme song. Not the only one. She's had several of them, but this is. I really like the one in Rebirth the Mothra 3. It's like. Yeah, it's really awesome. It's very atmospheric. Even though Ashiro Honda was already dead by the time that movie came out. That one really has a really cool rendition. It's a different version. Mm. There's a red juice. In the sea versus the sea monster is a yellow liquid, not a red liquid. Mothra's in that one, but it's a cameo. It's not her movie. Yeah, I think the fairies are the cute ones in this movie. The lead reporter girl, we've seen this character done many times before. We've seen it in Godzilla versus Mothra and Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster and Godzilla 2000. So we've seen it many times, guys. As a fan of this franchise, I know nearly every girl that's been a reporter in one of these films. Because again, photographic memory, man. Hanashi. Now, at least these movies are not boring like episodes of Ultra Q. If you try binge watching that show, it is dull after like the fifth or sixth episode. It's just people talking. There's no monster action until the end, and the monsters are barely in the show. Like Monarch was supposed to be about the monsters, and it's not. It's about some Asian girl and some group of people that have to interact with the monsters. It's not the same. It's boring. It's so boring, and there's too many flashbacks. This movie doesn't have flashbacks. Hmm. There's the cuties again. They are cute, both of them. We do sympathize with them. They are played by Japanese women. They're identical twins and beautiful. You'll have to suffer because of what Nelson did. You stole the two fairies from the island. What do you? How do you think Mothra's gonna react when she sees them that they're not there? She's gonna be like, "Where are my girls?" Trust me, I would be upset too. If if some creepy Japanese guy stole my woman, I would come after him. First, I would call the police and then come go after him. No one steals my girl. That's the same egg from Godzilla versus Mothra. It's the same looking egg. It takes a while for it to hatch from that egg, man, and then turn into the for her adult form. The sound is not as good in this DVD because it's Columbia Pictures that released this DVD, not Classic Media, unfortunately. They only did the Godzilla films, Rodan, War of the Gargantuas, and some others. There's the egg finally. 47 minutes in, it cracks. The music is really good in the film. There she is, as a larva. Then she becomes an adult later in the film. Even on the cover of the poster, it shows her mostly as a larva stage because she doesn't turn into an adult till near the end of the film. Hey there, cute moth, baby moth, and end scene, of course, because this Nelson guy, I never saw him in another kaiju film. He just looks shady. He looks like he's half white, and I don't think he is. Here come the girls again. In this movie, they're basically just a sideshow for Nelson's amusement and to make money off of them. Even though they're living creatures, they're not toys or robots. There she is. She's in the water now. It's about time because the movie's like half done and we haven't seen any monster action. It's mostly been with the fairies and the humans. And people complain that movies are too boring now. I'm like, guys, because movies now are too long. If this was made today, this would have been 2 hours and 40 minutes. That boat is done. Look how cute they are. You know how much I love Asian women. This is like soothing for me. See, the audience is enchanted. They're not the problem. Nelson is the problem. Here she comes, going underwater again. Again, you're in the way of her destiny. Luxury liner, yeah, it's totaled. Mm-hmm. Right here, it's a Tokyo. Yep, we know the monsters always go there, or some other place like Hokkaido or Kyushu. It's attacking him. The scene is silly. Yeah, you hit the guy right in the gut. Well, trust me, pain. We know that that's understood in any language. Again, it's a slapstick every time this fat guy's on screen. He's not a fighter. He's not Sammo Hung. Oh, these movies are so fun, man. I love watching these films so much. They're old. The snapping turtle. Yeah, you're not Toka from Ninja Turtles 2. He was a snapping turtle. Oh, they're so cute. Mothra's a girl. They said he. I'm like, that's wrong in the subtitles. It's a typo. It's a she. I don't think Mothra's been a boy. Maybe one of them was. I don't know, but it's mostly a girl. Are you gonna put this in your top five? No, it's a good film. I just don't think it's in my top five because the Godzilla versus Mothra set the bar so high. This one's like, it's fine, decent to good, not great though. I think it's a little bit too slow. Like there's a lot of decent moments with the humans, but if they had chopped 10 minutes and got to Mothra a lot sooner, this would be in my top five. But it's not. It's good enough though. I still prefer other Godzilla movies over this one, and even the Rebirth of Mothra movies, even though they're much more kid friendly, the monster action is a lot sooner. You don't have to wait an hour, and the monsters are pretty good looking. There's a bigger budget. And there were different Mothras. You had the baby fairy Mothra, and then you had the giant Mothra with the wings, and it has different forms. So, and the monsters were completely different. You had Descadora, and then you had the sea creature, and then King Ghidorah came back. So, this is not on my top five again because I didn't grow up with this movie. I didn't see it as a kid. They never gave it on TV. I got the VHS when I was in college, and then I saw it. I'm like, yeah, it's fun. This and Rodan, I didn't see as a kid. The originals. The original Godzilla I did. The original um, Godzilla versus Mothra as well. Because back in the day, it was hard to find these movies. And you could never find them subtitled. You could only find them subtitled on a VHS tape imported from Japan. Now you could stream them, so it's much easier to find these movies now, thanks to streaming. Thanks to things like Tubi and Amazon Prime and Max, they preserve the original versions of these. There she is. It's 10:54. We're 58 minutes in now. Hoka. She just wants her fairies back. That's it. Then she goes home in peace. And end scene. Again, did I mention this guy's not subtle at all? What's he eating? Those rice balls? They look like rice balls. And there she is. We're an hour in. Japanese police. Mm-hmm. She's arrived. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-hmm. The dam's got to go down. Mm-hmm. I don't understand how they speak English in this version, and yet in Godzilla vs. Monster Zero, Nick Adams is dubbed in Japanese. I guess because they did that because they wanted Japanese audiences to know what he was saying. I get it, but whatever. There she is. She's causing damage because she's looking for the baby, for the little girls. Why would you steal them? Because Nelson is greedy. Baby. We're almost done. Run! They're saving a baby from a bridge. This is similar to a scene in Gamera Guardian of the Universe. That there's, I think, a kid on the bridge or a baby, and they save the baby, like right before Gamera and Guile's attack. This movie has some guts, man. It's a very gutsy scene, man. Again, who keeps a baby in a basket? Don't you have a stroller or like a strap to put on for the so the baby can be on, like Baby Yoda? Firmly refuses to return tiny babies to. Yes, kid, we know what's happening. You don't have to tell us. Look at that chicken jockey, in a way. That kid is kind of a filler character. You could have cut him out of the movie. He's not even a main character. He's just a side character that's just kind of there. A chubby kid. They have beautiful hair. 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 They have beautiful Cora. Did they just hit that kid with his own hat? Like, what kind of a reaction is that? It's always cartoonish sometimes when it comes to the fat kid and the chubby guy, Zen. Yeah, it becomes a cartoon. That's how this one's not taken dead seriously, like Godzilla 1980, not the original Godzilla. That's hilarious, man. What are you, Jeremy Irons or Shinji? Yeah, you could have cut him out of the movie. He was hiding. They put. There she is. 1 month, or the body looks a little brighter, like paler, because she's not brown in this one. There she is with her blue eyes. Shibuya. 71 minutes in. Let me get up because it's almost done. Oh no, the jugular. Yeah, they're shutting the lights off. There's Mothra in the city. Hold on. Look at her little nose, her little mouth. She's cute. Nothing threatening about her. She's just a cute monster that evolves and sprouts wings. Excuse me. The movie's almost over. Don't worry. It's a slower paced film. Like I said, you don't see Mothra attack the city until about an hour in, so it takes a while. Because the Shiro Honda like to put a lot of atmosphere and human characters. Yep, those buildings got to go down until she gets her little fairies and goes home. Mm-hmm. Debris. Again, when you steal her babies or her fairies, there's retaliation. Like any parent or guardian. This movie should have had most of this run to say like in the first 10 minutes. Yeah, I agree. It's just that with a Shiro Honda, you're gonna get a lot of, uh, you know, you're gonna get a lot of human interaction because they want people to care about these humans. I think some of them are decent. It's just they're not all interesting. You could have cut the kid out of the movie because he serves no purpose. Uh, you know, uh, Zen is only there for comic relief. Yuck yucks. The peanuts are cute. That other lady you could have cut out. Like the reporter chick, she doesn't do anything. She's just kind of there. And of course, Nelson's the villain, so you have to have a villain here. But you could have cut a lot of this out. Like at least 5 or 10 minutes would have been fine. Because Godzilla vs. Mothra is a lot shorter. It's like 94 minutes, not an hour and 41. This one's a little bit long, yeah. Because even the movie Rampage that came out a couple years back, they show the George in the first couple of minutes. They don't have to wait till the end. They don't show the crocodile until the third act. She's reached Tokyo Tower, aka the Eiffel Tower of Japan. That's what it looks like. This is where she spins her web and becomes adult form Mothra. They do a similar thing in Godzilla vs. Mothra: Battle for Earth. I wish I could have done that one, but I don't have the Japanese version. It's not gonna do anything. You've been shooting missiles at her and bullets for minutes, and nothing's happened because she's indestructible. Mostly, these conventional weapons can't do anything. Those are toys. You saw those are like little dolls. The tower's going down. Mm-hmm. Goodbye, tower. She's down. Ceasefire. Well, she's not dead. This is when she spins a web. Because there's no monster for Mothra to fight here. And in the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy, she has opponents. Mm-hmm. Webbing, Spidey, webbing. She has to cocoon herself and then become a giant moth with wings. Dun, 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 dun. It does have some slow spots, but so does it's building a cocoon. Yes, I know. You don't have to tell me. Also, when I do Alien, that's a very slow movie as well. You don't see the alien right away. You have to. Yep, there's the cocoon. Yeah, I can speak English. He's fluent in English and in Japanese, so he's probably a mix. Mm-hmm. It's like Selena Jade, that she could speak both. I know she has kind of disappeared for a while, but she'll be back. Hmm. The adult Malta version. Mm-hmm. There's the cocoon. It's just Godzilla versus Mothra was a hard act to follow. I mean, this was before that, but still, it looks like a giant peanut. It's just that one is such a classic, you know. Just it's got a great monster fight at the end. It's got a lot of atmosphere, and they show Godzilla like in the 20 minutes. It doesn't take an hour, 20 or 30 minutes. You guys saw my reaction to it. Why are you attacking her cocoon? She's not hurting anybody. 10 o'clock. That's 20 minutes. Right now it's 11:18 where I live. 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. They're gonna shoot a beam right at Mothra's cocoon. 20 seconds. We're 83 minutes in, so yeah, see, it takes her until the very end for Mothra to look like this. Mm-hmm. So if you're expecting her to be a flying moth in the movie, yeah, you're not going to get that till the end, like Red Hulk. People are just not as patient now. Back then they were. In the 1960s, people would sit through the entire film to get to the money shot. Now, it doesn't work. Now everything has to be so fast. It's not going to hurt her. It's on fire. Again, that's not hurting her. She's protected. Even though bug Pokemon usually are burned at the stake when they get hit with a flame. But, you know, this isn't Pokemon. This is the Godzilla spin-off movie. Yay, we burned an innocent bug to the ground. Realistica. No, she's not. Yeah, ha 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 ha. She's not dead. You're white. Again, you're idiots. They didn't burn. They burned the cocoon, but she's still alive. Eh. Yep, there she is. Dead, huh? You thought you could fry her cocoon? This is not a regular cocoon. It's a giant monster. She looks so cute with her little antennas and the fuzziness. Yeah, it's like a toy. There's the wings, the iconic wings that Mothra has in every version we've seen her in, as an adult, not as a larva. Because even Godzilla versus Kong, the New Empire, Mothra shows up. Should have been in the movie a lot more than Rebecca Kaufman is in. I didn't ever want to see her again. She's not a good actress. There she is, flying high. 80 minutes into the movie, like 85 minutes in. see the strings. The Air Force completely annihilated by Mothra, yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, they switch between English and Japanese, which is fine. These movies were getting more mainstream by 1961, so good to have both, a mix of both. And they had English and Japanese in their first Sonic movie. This isn't like Amelia Perez, where it's a garbage movie no matter what language they were speaking. They could have spoken in Latin, and the movie would still suck. It only got all those Oscars because critics thinks that these movies are amazing because they're subtitled. I'm like, no, it's a LGB movie that nobody wanted. Okay, you should have released it in June instead of in last December or whatever it came out. We're not stupid, okay? It's about a fake person. That's what it's about. It's got nothing to do with a woman. Zoe Saldana could have been Emilia Perez and it would have been just fine. But no, they have to be preachy. Well, your preaching failed because it only got 2 Oscars and not 13. So, yep. Suck on the rod of life, Emilia Perez. Yeah, I know. There she is. You don't have to be preachy. You could tell your message movie without having to beat it over our heads. And write a good script. Don't put songs in there that feel completely forced. Here, the songs fit Mothra's, franchise. Because in Power Rangers they did an English version and then they did a Japanese version, so it makes sense with the shows, not the movies, because the 1995 movie was filmed in Australia and was mostly English speaking. He's getting flashbacks. Yep, he shot a cop. Yep, they got him. Of course they got him. He's the villain of the movie. He was either going to die in the first half of the film or die at the end. And we're 90 minutes in, so of course he has to die. Gotcha. Get back to the action. Where are the fairies? Where are they? New Kirk City, not New York City, because New York wanted nothing to do with this movie. Drugstore. Those boats and cars are just completely destroy the city. This feels like another movie because you have all these white people here, and I'm like, they're barely in the movie. I guess after Nelson died, they're like, no, let's just put some white people in here so the audience can at least see, people that look like them. Okay, there's diverse people in this movie. They'll fly right to us. Again, Gorgo also destroyed a major city to look for the baby. I get it. Yeah, this feels kind. This scene could have been cut just for time because they don't know how to do an ending for this movie. They just like they're not going to end it with Mothra dying because that's a ripoff of the original Godzilla or Rodan, where Rodan burns alive with his mate. They don't want this to be as downbeat, but it feels a little forced. I know what that symbol is. I'm not going to show it because on YouTube you can't put insignias and shove it in people's face like that. No matter what, trust me, I know. When I reviewed the Spirit of a long time ago, I deleted the review because they flagged me because they had an insignia of a swastika. So I'm like, it was not my intention to show that. 3 p.m. It's got to be 3 p.m. because 3 a.m. will be nighttime. Even in Japan, even though the time is different in Japan, right now it's probably nighttime already over there. Yeah, this ending is a little bit, because in the original Godzilla, they didn't do a scene like this. When the city's completely destroyed and people in the hospital suffering, there's a scene with the girl singing, but it's short. It's not this kind of ending. I think was a little bit forced. I don't know. Just I get the intent, but I don't. You don't need that in. I don't need that in my monster movies. Hopefully, Godzilla -1 doesn't have anything like this, and that's 2 hours and 6 minutes. So we'll see how long it is. Because it like this stops the movie to just do something. I'm like, 15 minutes. Not for the movie. The movie's over in a couple of minutes, but it says 15 minutes to 3. That's why it's not one of my favorites, because the ending is a little bit, even in the dub version, it's got the same imagery. I'm like, yeah, you don't need that. It's not needed in a film like this. That bridge is totaled. I've seen too much of that insignia this year. Hopefully in June I don't have to see it as much because I'm going to Comic-Con soon. Mm-mm-mm. Here she comes. I can hear the bells, and that's another movie. That's Hairspray, the remake. There she comes, landing right on the symbol in the airfield. Landing on the symbol is fine, but did the symbol have to be an insignia? No. It could have been an X. Sometimes some symbolism is a little bit on the nose. It's like how what people said about Miyazaki that he puts an environmental message in a lot of his films. I'm like, I get it. I get it. I watch movies to be entertained, not be preached to. Sorry. There we go. Take the ferries and go home. That's why she's here. Bye. That's why it loses a hat. Never disturbed a piece of Infant Island. That's a lie. Because in the, a few years later they do that. Yep, got to get a ride on the Mothra before the sun goes down. This one doesn't have a downbeat ending, but it's a little bit slow. That's one reason it's not one of my favorites. Definitely not in my top 10 because Godzilla vs. Mothra is just so much better. It's shorter, and there's no insignias in that compared to this one. It doesn't have any white people unless you see the English dub. There's the strings. The effects don't bother me in the movie at all. The effect sets and the production is fine. It's just the third act. It's a bit weak. It's probably the weakest part of the movie. That without the monster action, pretty much. The first two acts are more interesting when it comes to the storytelling. I get it. You didn't get any pictures? Ha ha. Laughter you can understand in any part of the world. It's the best medicine there is. Yep, she flew right back to the island. It's faster to get there by air but not by sea. Still a shorter movie than Batman Forever, but I enjoy that movie way more. It's more underrated, and it was more successful than this. And I've seen it many more times than this. We made it home. That's it. The movie's over. An hour and 41 minutes, yeah. And one more shot of the island, and we're done. That's it. That was the original Mothra. Still a good movie, but like I said, the third act is, is not the best. This is ain't. Oh, shut up, dog. Anyway, the movie, it's fine. I'm glad I got to watch it again. It's been a while. And that's it for this set for now. I'll do Battle in Outer Space some other time, probably in the fall. Because there's no monster in it, so there's no reason to do it for Asian month. I can save it for some other time. But thanks for watching, guys. Acknowledge me, and I'll see you guys in a few days to do the next podcast, which will be Batman and Robin. Yay. Happy times ahead. But anyway, see you in the next one.